There are some people that might argue that owning 4 spinning wheels is enough, if not a little bit overkill, for one person. To those people I say, take your negativity elsewhere. Even though I already have 4 gorgeous spinning wheels that help me spin all the yarn I want, I cannot help browsing second-hand marketplaces for, more intriguing, intricate, interesting wheels. You know where I am getting it, right? Boink. Say hi to the newest addition to my flock. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. This is a spinning wheel. If you are not familiar with this, it's a Louët. More specifically, the Louët S40. The Louët S40 is sometimes also lovingly called the Hatbox wheel. And I think you can see why. When I am browsing the second-hand marketplaces, it is exactly wheels like this that pique my interest. Wheels that are a little bit extra. And maybe this is the opposite of extra because it is so small and compact. That's why I wanted it. This, to me, will be my travel wheel. Because it is a box. I'm going to open the box now, prepared for metal clanging. Let's take you a little closer, right? Here is the drive wheel and the treadle, and the rest of this spinning wheel assembly is actually in the lid of the box. We have a built-in lazy gate, but that is broken, so I might need to fix it. And here is the flyer assembly. The flyer assembly has these 2 metal rods and a little elastic band. Here are 2 holes and a little screw for the metal band to attach to. So, that is a flyer assembly assembled, put on the wheel. As you can see, it is neatly against the wheel. So that makes this a direct drive wheel. The flyer spins as the wheel turns. Now, my bobbin isn't spinning freely. Just need some cleaning and some oiling. Let's do that. You can unscrew this here. And whoops. You can take the bobbin off. Yeah, this does feel very, very sticky. I'm going to clean it. So now, to show you how tiny this S40 actually is, here it is with its big sister, the S71. The S71 isn't a big wheel either if you compare it to my Wernicking or the Ashford in the back. And then we have this little mini, which is, I think, with the lid on at its highest point, 40 centimeters. 40 centimeters. Now you might see that I have, where is my finger? There is my finger. You might see that I already have tied on the leader, which means we are ready to get spinning. Now, since this S40 is for all intents and purposes a travel wheel, I thought, why not spin some travel fiber? I bought this in Valencia. This is actually supposed to be yarn, but don't be mistaken, everything that is jumbo yarn is only for spinning. You don't want to be knitting with this. This is, well, this has no twist, this has no integrity whatsoever. This will fall apart in felt. Spin it. If you have jumbo yarn, spin it. It might also be like a cheap way to buy fiber, because this was €7 and it is 100 grams. Since it is so small, this is probably going to be the wheel with the most awkward filming angles. I don't know, it's so tiny, like my knees are above it. Now for spinning, With this big delta orifice, you might think that it can take the biggest and chunkiest and coiliest of all art yarns, but it also has to pass through this, which just about fits my finger. So I think the maximum thickness of yarn to pass through this wheel is about 1 centimeter, which is way thicker than anything I would ever spin, because I like garment yarn. So let's try this yarn, to spin this yarn, actually this pencil roving. The official first centimeters on my Louët S40. It's a rather slow wheel. I think this is a 3-to-1 ratio, so I don't think it's the ideal wheel to spin gossamer yarn or anything. You know, it's not meant to be that, right? It's actually just meant to be a spinning wheel that you can travel with. If it were a little bit better weather right now, I would want to try and put it in my bicycle carrier bags. But that might be a video idea for later. Now, the fun thing about Louët spinning wheels is that oftentimes they have interchangeable parts. Now, the fun part about me is that I managed to buy 2 Louët wheels that don't. Both the S71 and this S70 have completely different bobbins. You cannot change them from the one wheel to the other. But then the second fun thing about Louët is that they still give support for these older wheels, and you can still buy spare parts. The bearings, the brake band, the drive band, all is still available. So I think both my Louët wheels, so the S71 and this S40, are from the late 70s or maybe the 80s. And I can still find parts to replace anything that breaks. That's a good job from Louët. I like seeing a repair mindset in companies. Now, if I were you, and I know that I'm not, but I think that in real life we might be friends or something, I would have questions about the fiber too. Like, the spinning wheel is all very interesting, Jente, but tell me about the fiber. The fiber is this brand, which is Valeria di Roma Lanas. And even though it says Rome, it is made in Spain. It is 25 meters of 100% lana natural, which means 100% natural wool. It is supposed to be knit on needles 25 millimeter, I guess. You should not iron it, tumble dry it, or wash it, or use detergent on it. And that is everything I can tell you about the fiber, the yarn, which I think is weird, you know, coming from a spinner. We are spinners and we like kind of boasting, or at least nerding out about what specific kind of fiber that we're using. Like, oh my god, this Corriedale, I like it. Or, give me the blue tassel, give me the blue tassel. But this just says 100% wool. And that is something I have seen across many brands of yarn, that they will include fiber content, but will not specify the sheep. And as a knitter, I didn't think of it. I just went for, give me 100% wool, I want all the wool. But as a spinner, I kind of want to know what sheep this is. The only thing I can say for certain is that this is not merino. Because if it is merino, they will tell you, they will throw it in your face. Especially in Spain, one of the origin countries of merino. So, it's not merino, it's 100% wool. Why don't yarn companies specify the sheep? Are we so deep into this fiber arts rabbit hole that we are the only ones that care about that? I would like to think that we're not. And maybe just a crazy thought, but I think that naming the... Oh, got my skirt caught in my wheel. That's a first. So where was I? Yeah, so I think that naming the sheep breed on your yarn wrapper might give people a better appreciation of local sheep breeds, or might bust the myth of all wool is itchy except for merino. You know what I'm saying? Like if people can go to the yarn store, pick up a skein and it says 100% Corriedale, for example, or 100% Tessel, or 100% blue-faced Leicester. I don't know, I'm just trying to think of a breed that has next to skin softness that people don't know much about and feel that, oh my god, actually this is nice too. It might just be beneficial for the entire wool industry. But that maybe is just a weird brain fart that I had. What do you think about that? Should there be more specifications on yarn labels to what breeds are in the wool, or are you content with just knowing that it is 100% wool? Here is our first bobbin spun on the Louët S40 little Hatbox. As you can see, it is not neatly divided because there is only one flyer arm, and that one and only flyer arm only has 4 hooks. So then you get lumpy bumpy bobbins. But yeah, it's just a gimmicky travel wheel, so we're completely content with that. That's just one bobbin. Let's spin another and then we can ply and have some yarn. As you can see, I also did not care about uniformity in my singles over here. Cotton candy. Which in Dutch, by the way, is called suikerspin, so sugar spin. I'm spinning some sugar spin. No, sugar spider, actually. But that's the same word. Spin and spin. Spider, spin. Sugar spider. Spinning a sugar spider. No, not a sugar spider. A sugar spin, because that is how it is made. They spin the sugar. This has gone on way too long. Cotton candy. Now, with it being a wheel with a slower ratio, but also with very small bobbins, they're filled rather quickly. Now, I told you that the internal lazy gate of the Louët S40 is broken, or well, actually it is missing a piece, so I'm asking bigger sister Gillian to lend her lazy gate to, well, yes, what will we call our new wheel? As you might know, or if you don't, I'm telling you right now, I name my wheels and I have a very specific naming convention, which is other YouTubers that I greatly admire. So what I was thinking personally was Abbie, because they are my absolute, and my husband will agree with this, favorite travel YouTuber, Abbie Barnes from Spend More Time in the Wild. And I think as this is a travel wheel, it will also give me the opportunity to spend more time in the wild. Like when the temperatures raise above freezing here in Belgium, I will take this wheel outside. I'm really hoping it fits in the carrier bags of my bike, and then we'll be having adventures. That's what I'm dreaming, and also just taking it with me on holiday. So that's my suggestion, that this wheel would be named Abbie after Abbie Barnes. But what is your suggestion? What do you think? Is Abbie a good name, or do you have an even better suggestion? I think I will have to do the plying in 2 times. That seems rather full. And here we go, 57 meters of bulky spun yarn from what was very, very, very bulky yarn, only 25 meters. I didn't even use the entire 100 grams yet. This is approximately 60 grams. So yeah, another reason why you should spin that really, really bulky roving yarn. 25 meters just doesn't bring you very far. 75 meters, just that little farther, you know. Anyway, I had a great time getting to know my new to me S40 wheel. My thoughts on this wheel are that I think one is going to be a very neat travel companion, and I will take it with me whenever I go on my big holidays, and then I also get to spin on a wheel and not only on spindles. However, it was a nice thing to have to spin on spindles, not relying on a wheel, but I'm a wheel person. I'm a wheel person, especially if it looks this cool and mid-century modern as this wheel does. Next to it being a good travel wheel, I also think this will be a good wheel to attempt to get somewhere close to a loopy unspun yarn. I think with the slow ratio and just the ability to also treadle really slow with this wheel, I think it might be doable, it might be possible with this wheel. I think, yeah, loopy yarns are such an unattainable dream to me. Like, if you can spin a loopy yarn, you can spin literally anything. That's kind of what I have in my head, and I think anyone who is able to spin a loopy yarn is the most accomplished spinner ever. This wheel makes me feel like I could do it too. Maybe I can't, not even with this wheel, but if there is one wheel I am willing to try it with, it's this one. So maybe in the future, when I'm a little bit more acquainted with this wheel, because as I said before, this one isn't like really uniform yet. I really need to get to know this wheel a little bit better before I can dive into the strange and weird yarns that are possible with this. Maybe a little bit more about the yarn. I don't know what fiber this is still. Yarn companies, why don't you put your fiber content on this? But it is very soft and springy and squishy, and I really do like it. I can most compare it to the Corriedale that I spun, couple videos ago, might be almost 10. It has that same feeling of niceness. Like, this is a yarn that, if knit up, would just feel so very great. I also look forward to actually traveling with this wheel. I am curious to know whether or not it fits in my bike carriers, and then I will take it on a bike trip and just spin in nature. And just having a little travel wheel opens so much possibilities, I think. Tell me, what do you think about this wheel? Is this something that if it becomes available to you, you would snag up as well? And then, well, all that there is left for me to say is, if you like these kind of fiber shenanigans, then maybe you could like, comment or subscribe. But of course, that is all up to you. And as for me, I will see you in a next video. But before we do that, here are some more spinning shenanigans. Bye.